The PUP Northern Caucus votes to support the BTL acquisition, but tonight, Minister Julius Espat breaks rank and says that was a bad move. Tonight, he calls for more consultation before any acquisition proceeds. And an 18-year-old dead tonight after another motorcycle accident on the Northern Highway. Will take you to the scene. Also, the Guyanese president arrives. We'll show you his address to a joint sitting of Parliament today. Plus, the cold front came on strong this morning. But how cold was it really? We'll tell you about the record lows. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight, Monday, February 2nd, 2026. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Crank.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
Shop smart for your Samsung devices in Belize and enjoy benefits you won't get anywhere else. When you shop locally for your Samsung, all your devices will be covered by a 1-year local warranty. You won't get that when shopping with the other guys. When in doubt, always look for the Cellular World seal to know you're getting the real deal. Shop with confidence and enjoy your Galaxy knowing that it can be repaired locally at our Samsung Service Center by certified Samsung technicians using original parts and machinery. Even better, enjoy the best LTE experience in Belize, knowing that your Samsung devices are compatible with major local carrier networks. Get the ultimate Samsung Galaxy experience only when you shop from authorized Samsung resellers nationwide.
I sit at the pleasure of the Prime Minister.
And what is the Prime Minister's pleasure? Could it be sealing the deal on an acquisition that will make his family $18 million richer? And why has Chairman Bacon gotten such a lucrative contract to the tune of almost $400,000 a year?
So if the Prime Minister thinks that I'm not doing his job.
But you're doing his job, aren't you? Chairman Bacon is the first chairman in history to be given a fireproof clause. He was appointed for 5 years. Why give him that kind of protection?
The Brisenians to stop exploiting this country and stop saddle Belizeans with debt for your own self-enrichment.
Child marriage, a global problem, but it's also a Belize problem. In 2024, Belize amended the Marriage Act. Legal marriage age, 18, no exceptions. Child marriage is now illegal in Belize. But early unions are still putting children at risk in many communities. What drives this? Poverty, limited access to education and health services, violence and unsafe homes, and harmful social norms that have gone unchallenged for too long. Many cases involve adolescent girls and older men, leading to teen pregnancy, school dropout, and limited opportunities. To protect our children and prevent early unions, everyone has a role to play. Share the facts about the law. Encourage teens to stay in school. Create safe spaces where young people feel supported. Support families facing violence or stress by helping them access services. Strengthen youth programs and parent support. Assist young people in getting access to the information, services, and support they need. Empower both girls and boys to understand their rights and make safe choices. When families, schools, churches, and communities work together, we can end early unions and protect every child's future. Know the law. Share this message. Support our children. End child marriage and early unions in Belize.
Every connection we make is more than just a signal. It's a student unlocking a future through digital education. A young mind daring to dream bigger. Our culture shared with the world in real time. And everyday heroes answering the call of civic duty. When we connect with Digi, we empower Belize.
Cutting through the politics and posturing, here are some important facts and figures. When BTL was renationalized in 2009, the company was valued at $226 million, but Belizean taxpayers eventually paid $648 million for it. So what exactly did we pay for? In black and white, here's the breakdown. Dunkeld for shares acquired, $354 million, almost half of which was interest resulting from government's refusal to settle promptly. BTL Employees Trust, $114 million, almost double the initial award due to interest and other costs. British Caribbean Bank Limited, $87 million, more than double the initial award due to interest. Government of Belize arbitration costs, $839,000. Government of Belize legal fees and costs, $13 million. Social Security loan acquired, $29 million. Government of Belize loan to Sunshine Holdings, $10 million. Taxes government failed to collect, $38 million. All for a grand total of $648 million. So we paid $422 million more than the real value, 3 times its true worth, not for the latest technology, because there was none, but simply for personal ego and legal misadventure. Let that sink in, Belize. Ignore the politics and posturing. Focus on the facts.
Haven't updated your information recently? Well, kick off the new year as a winner. RF&G Insurance is giving you a free chance to win every month. Entering is easy. Just chat with us on WhatsApp and update your information. That's it. You'll be automatically entered into our monthly raffle for a chance to win awesome prizes. Don't wait. Message us on WhatsApp and update your info today. RF&G Insurance. It pays to get it right.
Hey Belize! Our country is known worldwide for its natural beauty, from our barrier reef to our rainforest. But there's a growing threat to our paradise. Global plastic production has skyrocketed to 400 million tons per year, and without action, plastic waste flowing into our waters will nearly triple by 2040, from around 11 million tons in 2016 to around 29 million tons in 2040. Here at home, the situation is just as concerning. In 2024 alone, Belize imported over 13.3 million plastics and over 12 million plastic lids and caps. What might seem like just one plastic bottle or one chips bag adds up quickly. During our National Cleanup Day, almost 26,000 plastic bottles were collected, and that's just one day of effort. But here's the good news. We can all be part of the solution. Use waste bins, keep a litter bag in your car. Wait until you find a proper disposal site. These simple actions make a real difference. Join us in keeping Belize clean. Our Belize, our responsibility. Bini.
I'm Randolph Friesen and I manage Westbell Produce, better known as Granny's Foods. That's our main brand. So we offer high quality grains, beans, rice, and we also offer corn chips made from 100% locally grown corn. We saw a need for high quality locally produced products. A lot of the best products are being exported, and we said, we need to keep some of the best products here in Belize rather than export everything. Atlantic Bank has helped us achieve our goals by providing the financing for us to be able to launch products faster than we would without the financing that they offer. We find that Atlantic Bank is very customer friendly, especially with small and medium-sized businesses. We find that Atlantic Bank is more than willing to go the extra mile. They try to understand your business. So when we go to Atlantic Bank with a certain need, we find that they try to develop a solution that will meet our specific need. I would encourage any small business owner to go to Atlantic Bank for their financial services. They're very friendly, and just overall, their service is excellent.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
After weeks, maybe months of silence, the Public Utilities Commission has finally spoken up tonight on what it calls market conditions in the telecommunications sector. And the news tonight is that it is moving to a public consultation and, quote, assessment of dominance in telecommunications markets. A release issued just 5 minutes before News Time says the utilities regulator has, quote, prepared an initial determination outlining the preliminary findings on whether any licensee may hold a position of market dominance. The document is available online, and the PUC is now inviting written comments from all interested parties, including licensees, consumers, consumer representatives, and the general public. There is a month period, and comments should be submitted to info@puc.bz by 4 p.m. on March 2nd of 2026. We'll have more on this tomorrow. Tonight, the Belize Chamber of Commerce, the National Trade Union Congress of Belize, the National Evangelical Association of Belize, the UDP, 3 independent media houses, and the independent senators remain firmly opposed to the BTL acquisition of Smart. But the first public endorsement has appeared, and not surprisingly, it comes from deep within the PUP. A rare Sunday afternoon release from the party's Northern Caucus has given a glowing endorsement of the acquisition. It says the group, comprising the 8 northern constituencies of the ruling party, met on Saturday in Orange Walk at Maracas Resort to receive a presentation from the management of BTL. And to no one's surprise, the caucus comes out basically supporting the deal that will benefit their boss's family in the amount of $18 million. The release says, quote, following the presentation and discussion, the Northern Caucus of the People's United Party voted unanimously to support the proposed BTL Smart merger and consolidations. And one PUP who's not impressed with the Northern Caucus's endorsement of the acquisition is Julius Espat. He says that's because Cabinet agreed to not announce its position on the proposed SpeedNet acquisition so as to not influence BTL deliberations. And then along comes the Northern Caucus, comprising no less than 7 ministers and ministers of state with a ringing public endorsement. Here's how Espat, as deputy chairman of the Western Caucus, puts it.
I was surprised of that release that came out. I saw it this morning. Why? Because in cabinet it was decided that there would be no political interference. So I am not in agreement with that. And if the Western Caucus decide it will be with Kaya South, not there. Because we made an agreement that the political interference would not be a part of the decision making, and that I am totally disappointed with.
Do you think it compromises the ongoing deliberation, the independence of it?
Well, that's the reason why Cabinet decided to stay away from it. And so, yes, it does.
What do you think of the entire consultation process that has happened, and the fact that, BTL is still trying to have a provisional vote, or had been trying to have a provisional vote without finishing consulting, and the Social Security Board hadn't consulted with each other as yet?
I was wishing and hoping that you wouldn't be asking me these questions, but
you're the best person to answer.
Consultation is never enough. I think there's a misconception that you have these privately, publicly owned companies and they believe that they don't have to consult with the Belizean people. That I have a serious problem with. You either own it or you don't own it. And we own it. So if we own it, then you have to come to us to ask our opinion. And that's why Cabinet was reluctant in making a position, because it was waiting for all the consultations to happen, including with the media. The media is extremely important in this. The concern that the media has if you have a monopoly and it can affect them in the future is something that has to be addressed. And it has to be put in place before an agreement is done. It's just my point of view. And that we need competition, well, from the day I was born, that is what I believe in having competition. And The reason that you have two telecom companies is because the concept of competition was there from the beginning. So I have listened to what BTL has had to say, and as a company, any company wants a monopoly. Channel 7 would want it, Channel 5 would want it, Plus TV would want it. Everybody in the business community would love a monopoly, but that doesn't mean that it is in the best interest of the consumers, and that is where I believe we have to be looking at and considering.
And while Espat is in the corner of the consumers, where does he stand in cabinet? They voted to allow the Prime Minister to sit in on BTL's presentation to the Tuesday group, even though his family stands to benefit $18 million from the sale. We asked him about that decision.
You didn't request that the Prime Minister step aside due to conflict of interest.
He proposed, and Cabinet decided that it wasn't necessary.
Why?
That was a Cabinet decision. Yes, I understand. I understand everybody's point of view, but the Prime Minister, in all due respect, said that if we would want, he would recuse himself. And the majority of Cabinet decided that it wasn't necessary. It's a difficult position to be put in. It's not easy for anybody. We have our opinions in Cabinet that we share with the Prime Minister, quite frankly. And those are Cabinet discussions and decisions under under our laws that we should not be speaking publicly out here about what we say inside Cabinet. But there is opposition to the concept, and BTL feels strongly that it is a good thing. So I think more consultation is required so that people are convinced either way. But just like this beautiful building that we see here, the design of it, not in its infrastructure, but the concept is to ventilate issues so that people can be aware. I think that's important. If you have a concern, then let's have more consultation. Let's sit with the people and convince them. When you get a presentation like the one we got, it's very positive. You look at all the positive aspects of it, but then you walk outside and you hear the noise and say, but why are people clamoring if the concept is so good? Well, let's look at the other side. Let's listen to the other side, and that way people can be convinced. Politically, either way, we could come out of this in a positive way, or we could come out of this in a negative way. It is how you convince people. A politician wins by how does a politician win? By putting in the work and convincing people that his leadership and his ideas are positive, and therefore people will gain traction with that concept and come with you. But if the politician does not do that, then the opposite happens.
And is Espat hinting at some discord within the ruling party? The leader of the opposition seems to think that all is not well. She believes that the release from the Northern Caucus is proof that not everybody is on the same page regarding the proposed acquisition. Here's how she put it.
Well, I think what is signal to me that there's serious internal conflict within the PUP for the Prime Minister to have to lean on his Northern Caucus to support this deal is clearly an indication of that. And yes, you answered yourself. It is politicizing of a national issue. I often said, and I said this morning on Channel 5, in fact, that we have a political prerogative. The opposition has a political prerogative, as does the government. But this issue is not a political issue. It is a national issue. When you attempt to burden the working class with an additional 100 million or more for an acquisition for which no valid information has been provided to the citizens who happen to be the owners of this public entity, then something is absolutely wrong.
Do you consider that the SSB should make its decision public once it's arrived at, or will we have to know through the grapevines?
Well, the chair of the SSB took the bold step and resigned from the BTL board when this matter was before the BTL board. So I suspect if she follows through with her stance, that whatever decision is taken at the SSB board will be made public.
And while Espat says it could go either way for the PUP, for the consumers and the free press, he sees it more plainly. He said they benefit from competition.
What do you believe if BTL buys out the major competitor? Will we be creating a monopoly?
Locally, yes. You can't run away from that concept. It's to your You're arguing two separate things. On the international level, you won't have a monopoly, but at a local level, you do. And you say, people have a concern. The media says, I am concerned because if you have government-dominated telecommunications, they can put a target on my shoulder and I won't be able to function. More or less, I understood that you guys were saying. That's a valid point. So we have to listen to that. And if it is done, then legislation has to be put in to ensure that that does not happen. The consumers are concerned and say, in the past, if BTL may give me a bad service, but the price may kind of all right, I will consider for go to the guy who will give me a better service, but it's a bit more expensive or less expensive. You have the option. With what is happening, you won't have an option. And I believe that options are always positive.
And while ISPAT is cautious, the political effort to gain support for the acquisition from the PUP party is in overdrive tonight. Reports are that this evening at 6, BTL is making a presentation to party supporters and constituency executive members at the House of Culture. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll take you to the sad scene of a fatal traffic accident that claimed the life of a teenager not far from home. Plus, we'll show you the state visit of Guyanese President Irfane Ali. Don't go away.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
February is all about Honda. Get special pricing and discounts on all Honda products. Enjoy up to 25% off select Honda products and 20% off Honda parts. Don't forget your B-Bucks whenever you make a purchase. There will also be a bike rally throughout the streets of Blue Creek and Belize City on February 7th and 14th respectively. All participants will get a free oil change. Check out our Facebook page for more details. Love Your Honda is all about deals and discounts on Honda products throughout the month of February. Only at Benquip Equipment Parts Service.
Finally, a postpaid plan for 3 people. Introducing Smart Trio. Why pay for mobile service alone when you can share and save? Get unlimited national calls, texts, plus 100 gigabytes of shared data. And the best part? It's only $135. That's right, as low as $45 per person. Perfect for small families, couples, or close friends. Smart Trio, 3 lines, 1 smart choice. Sign up now and you could win a Trio getaway to San Pedro for 3. Visit us at www.smart-bz.com for more information or sign up at any showroom today. Smart, bringing people together.
Cutting through the politics and posturing, here are some important facts and figures. When BTL was renationalized in 2009, the company was valued at $226 million, but Belizean taxpayers eventually paid $648 million for it. So what exactly did we pay for? In black and white, here's the breakdown. Dunkeld for shares acquired, $354 million, almost half of which was interest resulting from government's refusal to settle promptly. BTL Employees Trust, $114 million, almost double the initial award due to interest and other costs. British Caribbean Bank Limited, $87 million, more than double the initial award due to interest. Government of Belize arbitration costs, $839,000. Government of Belize legal fees and costs, $13 million. Social Security loan acquired, $29 million. Government of Belize loan to Sunshine Holdings, $10 million. Taxes government failed to collect, $38 million. All for a grand total of $648 million. So we paid $422 million more than the real value, 3 times its true worth, not for the latest technology, because there was none, but simply for personal ego and legal misadventure. Let that sink in, Belize. Ignore the politics and posturing. Focus on the facts.
At Atlantic Bank, we stand as more than just a financial institution. We are your partners in progress, dedicated to fostering your success by providing tailored solutions to micro, small, and medium enterprises. Your successes are our triumphs, and every success story deserves to be celebrated. We pledge to stand by you every step of the way. Today, we celebrate the values that define you with your unwavering dedication, steadfast commitment, boundless innovation, resolute work ethic, and unyielding ambition. We will navigate challenges, seize opportunities, and continue building the future together.
Un grupo de gente que hemos trabajado muy duro y la tierra es para la gente de Bellavista. ¿Para qué? Para que los jóvenes puedan tener tierra. ¿Para qué? Para que los jóvenes puedan desarrollarse en el futuro. Algo que les hacía falta por mucho tiempo. Nuestros padres vienen de las fincas bananeras. Somos gentes que hemos sufrido mucho. Y ustedes como jóvenes se merecen mejores oportunidades.
If you didn't have land before, you will have land now. Once you have land, you have wealth.
I think they want to build, they want to settle.
I'm already having dreams of my home and everything.
You know, the wires are just, I'm really excited. I'm really happy. I can finally begin to build a house.
It's just a great feeling, you know.
Mi amigo es un hermano, una persona para el pobre. ¿Estamos de acuerdo?
The Belize Tax Service has been serving the country well since its inception. But like many tax administration systems worldwide, it faces new challenges that require modern solutions. The Semi-Autonomous Revenue Authority, SARA, will be established by legislation that will modernize how Belize administers taxes. Countries across our region, Jamaica, Barbados, and Guyana, have undertaken similar efforts at modernization, and we're using their experiences, successes, and challenges to design a SARA specific to our tax landscape. SARA will operate under the Ministry of Finance with an advisory board comprised of experts in finance, tax, law, and public administration who will provide sound guidance while maintaining the required oversight of public funds. SARA will provide the framework for modernizing tax administration, improving the way we serve taxpayers, and supporting Belize's development. A semi-autonomous revenue authority, SARA, will create opportunities for improving human resource management, accelerating digital transformation that reduces turnaround time and paperwork, and providing more responsive customer service while maintaining strict accountability standards. SARA, a progressive tax administration for a modern Belize.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Tonight, an 18-year-old is dead and his family is grieving for a young life lost too close to home. Luis Montoya was turning off the Philip Golson Highway between miles 10 and 11 into his family's street this morning when he was fatally hit. Jaleesa Roberts was on the scene, and here's her story.
Grieving relatives on the side of the highway this morning looking powerlessly at a motorbike that carried their loved one, Luis Montoya. A week after celebrating his 18th birthday, He was clipped this morning by a freight truck while traveling between miles 10 and 11 on the Philip Golson Highway to his father's home. Montoya had just come from Orange Walk from seeing his mom this morning and borrowed his cousin's motorcycle so that he could purchase food and go to work. ASP Smith says that he was hit while turning at the intersection.
What the investigation has shown so far is that Montoya is alleged to have been seeking to make a left turn off the highway, and at that time a freight truck which was traveling in the same direction sought to overtake the motorcycle, and this resulted in a collision and the untimely passing of Mr. Montoya. The driver of that vehicle has since been served with a notice of intended prosecution.
The family members were gathered at the scene in disbelief that the young man they just saw leave their home on Old Well Road died almost instantaneously on a bike that wasn't even his.
Yes, and he gone to work, and he borrowed the cycle from my son to come get some breakfast and go back to work.
So it wasn't his cycle that he was on?
He was in my son's cycle. Yeah, they said that they knocked him. He already crossed the road when the truck overtaking and knocked him and nearly killed two other ladies who was set up over there. And he ran all the way over there and stopped.
The 18-year-old was employed at a bag-making factory nearby, and that's how he got his source of income.
Yeah, he was a good boy working and all doing good for his life.
He just turned 18.
Yeah.
How does this affect the family?
Well, this is hard for me. It's very hard.
He was the youngest child in his family, but his uncle said that they often warned them about the motorcycle use.
You know, motorcycles, they have a lot of fatal accidents. Were you ever concerned that your son or your nephew would be in an accident like this?
Sure. All the time I tell them, careful when you're up on the road because it's dangerous to drive a cycle.
And today, as the family did their duty by washing away his bloodstains from the pavement, there's no wiping away the memory of how young life was lost so quickly and so close to home. Montoya was wearing a helmet, but it had broken during the accident. Jaleesa Roberts, 7 News.
The driver of the freight truck has been issued a notice of intended prosecution. In July, Darnian Garcia was discovered with a small armory of weapons at the northern border during a routine customs inspection. He was charged but later released on bail. Tonight, though, he's back in the headlines after shooting at a police vehicle with an assault rifle. ASP Stacey Smith explains what happened with the former U.S. Army veteran.
Police in Ladyville are in the process of preparing a number of charges against 29-year-old Darnay Garcia, an American national who was apprehended by police sometime around 6 o'clock a.m. on Sunday, 1st February 2026 in Ladyville Village. Police's interaction with Garcia began sometime around 3:30 a.m. when a 27-year-old female called police and reported that she was assaulted by a male person and that he was actively in pursuit of her. Police responded swiftly and they met with the female on Olwell Road in Ladyville Village and as well as Mr. Garcia. Police sought to detain Mr. Garcia based on the report given by the female. However, Mr. Garcia managed to make good his escape. Whilst the police officers were transporting the female to the Ladyville police station, the mobile came under fire and an operation was organized as a consequence of this, as there was reasons to believe that Mr. Garcia was the culprit in that incident. A joint operation team consisting of personnel from the GI3, the Anti-Narcotics Unit, as well as the Ladyville Quick Response Team, organized and mobilized to an area of interest, and through the use of a drone and conducting covert surveillance, they were able to apprehend Mr. Garcia sometime around 6 o'clock a.m. and in his possession was a 9mm Smith & Wesson brand pistol which contained 14 live rounds of 9mm ammunition as well as a bag which contained an additional 60 live rounds of 9mm ammunition. Also found on the person of Mr. Garcia was an AR-15 rifle which contained 37 live rounds of 5.56 ammunition. Garcia is known to police as he is currently out on bail, having been charged in July of 2025 for illicit trafficking of firearm after a barrel was discovered at the Santa Elena border which contained a number of firearm and ammunition.
Garcia is expected to be arraigned tomorrow and will likely be remanded again. A police special constable is dead following a fatal road traffic accident on the Thomas Vincent Ramos Highway on Friday night. The accident occurred around 7:25 p.m. between miles 30 and 31. Upon arrival, officers found the body of 48-year-old Marcos Acal laying on the shoulder of the pavement. A damaged red and black Skygo 125cc motorcycle was found beside him with visible damage to its left side. ASP Stacey Smith tells us more.
Police have formally arrested and charged Juan Carlos Estrada Prado, a 30-year-old Guatemalan national of Santa Cruz Village, for the crimes of manslaughter by negligence and causing death by careless conduct, and the offenses of drove motor vehicle without due care and attention, failing to report an accident, and failing to stop and render aid. These charges follow police's investigation into a road traffic accident which claimed the life of Marcos Acal, a 48-year-old special constable of the Belize Police Department. The investigation commenced on Friday, 30th January 2026 at approximately 7:25 p.m. when officers attached to the Intermediate Southern Formation were advised that a traffic accident occurred between miles 31 and 32 on the Thomas Vincent Ramos Highway in southern Belize. The responding officers reported that upon their arrival at the scene, they observed the gravely injured Mr. Acal and a Skygo brand motorcycle which was beside him showed signs of damage. Acal was transported to the Southern Regional Hospital. However, he was pronounced dead at approximately 8:30 p.m. Whilst the investigators were processing the scene, intelligence was obtained in relation to a vehicle of interest that was seen in the Punta Gorda jurisdiction, and that information was relayed to police officers in Punta Gorda. The officers intercepted a Hino brand pickup truck at the dump in Punta Gorda, and on board that vehicle were Prado as well as two other male persons, and an inspection of that vehicle showed signs of damage and apparent blood. The Belize Police Department mourns the loss of Mr. Acal. Mr. Acal was a special constable for 14 years where he gave very dedicated and exemplary service.
A urine sample was obtained from Estrada Prado, who remains detained as investigations continue. The matter is being investigated as a case of manslaughter by negligence. Ranchito Village resident Sandra Pinedo has been arrested and charged after being found with crack cocaine and cannabis in her home. When police carried out the search, Pineda dashed through her home.
Corozal police have formally arrested and charged Sandra Araceli Pineda, a 38-year-old naturalized Belizean of Ranchito Village, for the offense of possession of controlled drugs with intent to supply to wit 5.8 grams of crack cocaine and possession of controlled drugs to wit 17.8 grams of cannabis. The arrest of Pineda follows police's execution of a search warrant at her residence on Friday, 30th January 2026 at around 10 o'clock a.m. The arresting officer reported that upon entering the premises while simultaneously advising the occupants that it was the police and that they were there to execute a search warrant, she observed Pineda picked up a transparent plastic bag and ran through the house. Pineda was pursued and she was observed throwing the plastic bag, and when it was opened and inspected, it was found to contain several pieces of suspected crack cocaine.
Nobody else was in the home and was charged because she claimed the drugs. Daniel Ek has been charged with 2 counts of burglary and possession of controlled drugs, and again it's crack cocaine. ASP Stacey Smith tells us about the extent to which X burglarized the 2 homes.
Corozal police have arrested and charged Dennis Ek, a 26-year-old of Chanchen village, for 2 counts of burglary and possession of controlled drugs to wit 0.13 grams of crack cocaine. The burglary charges, which occurred in separate incidents, it is in relation to reports made by 2 individuals that between 31st January and 1st February, Mr. Ek is reported to have entered these separate residences through the window of the house, and on one occasion he stole a container which contained $750, and in the other instance he was observed in that home without a shirt. When observed, he ran off and made good his escape. Based on the investigation carried out by the police officers, Mr. Ek was identified as a person of interest, and when he was sought at his residence and searched, in his pocket, police found the 0.13 grams of suspected crack cocaine.
Ek was expected to go to court. And those last 2 stories are part of a trend where over the past few weeks we have been observing an increase in crack cocaine-related crimes. Is it an increase in use or an increase in arrests? Well, today we asked the SP, Stacey Smith, to give us her expert opinion, and this is what she said.
Outside of the report itself, is there a reason why we're seeing an increase in crack and cocaine as opposed to marijuana? Can you talk about that a bit?
What I find to be new is that younger and younger persons are being charged for using drugs. And this is one of the reasons why us as a department places a lot of emphasis on interdicting drug peddlers, because by all indication, Mr. Ek is believed to have been undertaking these nefarious activities to support his habit. The sale of drugs is something that truly, weakens a society. It harasses everybody. Nobody rests well when a drug addict is on the prowl in their neighborhood. Your gas tank gets stolen, your line stick gets stolen. So we certainly place a lot of emphasis on interdicting drug peddlers. I know a lot of people will comment, oh, get the big fish and this and that and that. But it is also important to arrest these persons who are peddling drugs in neighborhoods and destroying lives.
And turning now to state news, Dr. Mohammed Arfain Ali has arrived in Belize for his 3-day state visit to Belize. Today he addressed parliamentarians at a joint sitting of the House of Representatives. Following the sitting, Belize and Guyana took concrete steps to deepen bilateral engagement through the signing of 4 memoranda of understanding. Our team was at yesterday's arrival, and Courtney Menzies has a recap.
We might have expected a private jet from the leader of the oil-rich nation with the fastest growing economy in the world, but President Mohamed Irfan Ali of Guyana flew commercial when he and his delegation arrived in Belize yesterday for his first official state visit. This begins a new chapter in the historically strong relations between the 2 CARICOM nations. The president touched down at the PGIE at approximately 1:28 p.m., accompanied by Hugh Todd, Guyana's Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, as well as a delegation of investors and business leaders. President Ali was welcomed with the customary fanfare reserved for heads of state by Belize's diplomatic and government officials, including Foreign Minister Francis Fonseca, his CEO Amalia Mai, and members of the Belize Defense Force Honor Guard, which he inspected. ceremonial reception also included Gail Miller Garnett, Belize's High Commissioner to Guyana, and other members of the diplomatic corps. After the inspection of the guard, Ali and his delegation made their way to Prime Minister John Briceño's farm, followed by returning to Belize City last night for a welcome reception. During his 3-day visit, President Ali is scheduled to address a joint sitting of Belize's parliament. Coincided with the inauguration of the newly renovated National Assembly building, he will also sign MOUs with Belize in areas of education, tourism, and defense. As lead head of government for agriculture within CARICOM, he will also engage with Belize's productive sector. And Ali's presence in Belize is seen as presenting opportunities for economic growth, particularly in agriculture and investment sectors. Courtney Menzies, 7 News.
Dr. Ali will be leaving Belize tomorrow. After 1 year and 4 months, House and Senate meetings are back at the National Assembly. The building was closed for repairs, and while the Taiwanese had originally given a grant for $1.5 million, the renovations ended up costing over $5 million. The difference was funded by GOB, and today they were able to see the upgraded chambers in its full glory in a joint sitting. And of course, they were joined by the visiting Guyanese president. Courtney Menzies was there today and has this story.
Members of the upper and lower houses of parliament gathered today at the newly renovated National Assembly for a special joint sitting. While this was the first sitting since the building was closed for repairs in September 2024, the chambers were also graced by the President of Guyana, Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali. At this special sitting, the leaders of both countries signed MOUs that would see collaborations in various sectors. In his speech, the Prime Minister spoke about them.
The several memorandums of understanding we will sign today covers diverse areas: education, tourism, digitization, and agriculture. They cover socio-economic and productive sectors of our countries. They provide solid bases for deeper collaboration in areas of mutual benefit. We offer our experience in tourism as you build your tourism product in the land of many waters. Our geographic similarities provide scope for knowledge sharing. Our expertise in agriculture will be made available and educational opportunities explored. Your experience in digitization will help us in our own efforts in this regard. Belize and Guyana must move deliberately to achieve our mutual ambition to feed CARICOM.
And President Ali addressed the similarities between the two countries and the challenges faced by both as smaller Caribbean nations.
Both our countries have faced challenges to territorial integrity and sovereignty. These challenges have demanded sustained attention, absorbed resources, and created uncertainty, with consequences for economic and social progress. We also confront common threats that transcend borders. Climate change poses profound risks to our societies and economies. Energy and food insecurity place additional strain on development. Transnational crime, including the illicit trafficking of drugs, weapons, and people, undermines stability and corrodes institutions. These challenges facing small states in our hemisphere are becoming more acute and more complex. My dear friend, I agree with you that Belize and Guyana must lead in the food security of this region. And when we make this investment, human, financial, and technological investment, the region must in turn have a fair trade system in which our produce and production is not subjected to the bureaucracy of the system or is not subjected to artificial barriers of trade that affect this region. We must together champion the cause of removing the barriers to trade, especially in food in this region.
President Ali concluded his speech by stating that despite the challenges of climate change and maintaining territorial integrity, both countries must continue to persevere and adapt.
Time and again, Belizeans and Guyanese have demonstrated a steadfast belief in our right to determine our own future. Our history is not one of passivity, it is a history of persistence. That legacy now calls upon us to act with renewed purpose. It calls upon small states to exercise confidence and to play their full and rightful role in shaping the future we seek and the world seek for our peoples.
And PM Briceño also used the opportunity of the joint sitting to show solidarity for another Caribbean nation.
We say unequivocally that the Caribbean should be a zone of peace. Madam Speaker, Belize believes in the non-interference in internal affairs of states. We view with serious concern recent events in our region which clearly undermine this principle. More concerning for us is the recently proclaimed executive order, which is likely to have grave consequences for the people of Cuba. The government of Belize stands in full solidarity with the Cuban people. We call for urgent good faith talks to avert a humanitarian crisis, which is likely to emerge in the Republic of Cuba if there is ever decreasing deliveries of petroleum products. A manufactured humanitarian disaster is neither moral nor is it illegal.
After the session, the Prime Minister escorted President Ali to Spanish Lookout and Santander to tour agricultural facilities. Courtney Menzies, 7 News.
And after the sitting, the media asked the leader of the opposition her thoughts on President Ali's visit. She said that it was timely and that Belize can gain a lot from its friendship with Guyana.
I think it's timely. We're opening our newly refurbished, renovated National Assembly, and we share common history. We share a common culture. We share, hopefully, common values. I know that the president is very big on democracy and preserving the rights and privileges and freedoms of citizens, the economic prosperity of his country. And I think that there is a lot that we can glean from his presentation today. I thought it was very inspiring, and hopefully our government took note.
But while today's meeting went smoothly, there was almost a protest in front of the National Assembly. And that's because the UDP applied for a permit but didn't get it. Instead, they received a permit to protest on Wednesday, and Panton explained why they'll be in front of SSB when that time comes.
There is a permit for Wednesday. We are calling on all Belizeans to join us on Wednesday at 10 o'clock as we meet outside the SS Social Security Board. The board is meeting at 11, we understand. And of course, we look forward to having the support and inclusion of our union partners and all members of civil society.
But was the initial plan to protest today?
We had hoped to protest today. The permit was denied, even though the Prime Minister speaks very boldly about the rights of citizens should be preserved and we have the right to protest. Obviously, he would have preferred the protest not to happen today. They used a technicality in the law to deny us the permit, but that will not keep us quiet. We will be sure that our voices are heard at every occasion that we have.
Do you anticipate any charges stemming from the protests last week?
None at all, but if the charges come, we are prepared to deal with them because we cannot allow the voices of our citizens to be stifled when it is clear to all of us. But I say even blind eye Josie could say that this is a attempt at blatant corruption by the Briceño administration. There is an inherent conflict of interest, and we have a right to express our concerns about that.
In that case, why didn't you protest today despite the rejection of the application?
We are a law-abiding party. We try to follow the rules. We try to be respectful of the institutional norms in this country. We are preparing to become the next government. And Wednesday, indeed, in Wednesday, we expect to have a large crowd assembled outside of SSB so that our voices can be heard.
But the Campo has a different explanation for why the application was rejected, and he also spoke to us about the police's performance during last Tuesday's protest in front of BTL on St. Thomas.
First of all, the police department do recognize the right of individual or group to protest, but they must do so within the context of the law. In terms of the one last week, I believe that we have a level of escalation in terms of our police response. And during the protests, it did not reach the level that we needed to escalate. So we do believe that it went at a manageable level that the uniformed personnel could have managed.
However, the protesters broke through whatever barricade you all said. It seemed as if you all were outnumbered and outmanned.
In terms of public order, in terms of public demonstration, we have a protocol in place, and for us to escalate, certain things should have happened, or in order for us to escalate to the other stage.
Were you prepared for any? I know that a permit to protest was rejected for today, but were you prepared for anything just in case?
Let me correct that. I was briefed. An application was received to protest on Friday afternoon. The application did not state the date. The commanding officer then informed the person who brought the application that a date need to be stated. That individual then said that he will consult with his party hierarchy. He then subsequently submitted an application for Wednesday. That application, the approval was given. But to say that otherwise, it's totally untrue.
That's from the United Democratic Party,
Yes,
correct?
from the opposition.
And the media also grilled the Kampal on why he didn't invite us to this year's National ComStat meeting. As we told you, every year the media receives an invite and an opportunity to discuss the numbers with the former commissioner and the former minister. But not this time. However, Rosado argued that we've never actually been invited to the meeting itself, and that this year they decided to let the government press office in for the first time.
I think it's a misstatement for the media to say that they have been invited for the past few years. The media have never been invited for the ComStat meeting. They are invited after the meeting to ask questions, but they have never been invited to the ComStat meeting. Yes. This is the first time that we invited the press office to join us during the opening session. But to say that the media has been invited for the past few years, it's a statement from the media houses.
Yeah, but that's semantics. Why are we? Why weren't we invited to ask questions?
This year we wanted to try something new, and this year we wanted to see whether we should invite or should not. And then I had left it up to our press office, and we decided to. But I have no objection to continue with inviting the media after for questions. That I have no objection with that.
So should a decision like that be left willy-nilly? This is an important aspect for public transparency, that we are there to ask the questions.
Like I said, this year we wanted to try something new. And for the media to say that they have been invited for years, it's a misstatement. It's being disingenuous because they have never been invited to the ComStat meeting. They have been invited after the meeting to ask questions. And I have no objection or no reservation in inviting them after the meeting for them to ask questions.
So will we be invited next year?
I have no objection. If the media want to attend after the ComStat, no objections.
We also asked the Kampal for any updates on the case of Budna's kidnapping and whether the police have been tasked to investigate further. He reverted once again to his default deflection, saying that the file and the case are in the DPP's hands.
Please appreciate that the lead investigator has completed her file, has submitted that file to the DPP, awaiting her review. The Belize Police Department is waiting for her to complete her review, and we will remain committed to assisting the DPP and her office in whatever support she needs to ensure that the rule of law is upheld.
Do you regret
The vehicle linked to Spanish lookout, the kidnapping vehicle?
I personally do not want to comment on any evidential material or investigative steps that is being taken so as not to prejudice the process.
Do you regret the apparently inaccurate statements that you made on August 25th about the Bumda abduction?
Like I mentioned before, my public statement at that time was based on the full extent of the briefing that was provided to me. Any subsequent portrayal that I was untruthful is totally inaccurate. I have always been transparent and I have always promoted transparency within the department. But my full extent of that public statement was based on the briefing that was provided to me.
Have you seen the surveillance footage since then, and do you believe that Mr. Flowers was a part of it, considering you know him well?
Like I mentioned, the investigator has completed her file. That file now sits at the hands of the DPP, awaiting her review. The department is waiting for the findings of that review, and we are committed in providing any support that she needs to ensure that the rule of law is maintained.
And in another matter, as we reported last month, the Compol refused to swear in Corporal Kenrick Ball, the dreadlocks cop, as a member of the police association. Today, he explained his decision.
All I will say is, as a department, we take the policy compliance seriously and policy implementation seriously. And in terms of that individual, we have forwarded to the AG ministry for his advice, and we are waiting his advice.
How much do you rely on previous cases, the one with the officers were in good?
Like I mentioned, we have forwarded it to the AG ministry for his advice, and we will wait his advice.
We'll take a break now. When we come back, how cold was it really last night and this morning? We'll tell you about the record-breaking temperatures, and Valentine's may be 2 weeks away, but we'll take you to a florist who's already in high gear for the biggest bouquet day of the year. Don't go away.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
Remember when Senator Bacon was still a senator? He spoke about transparency and honesty.
If you don't have anything to hide, why don't you bring it to light?
So why did Chairman Bacon hide this? The first ever employment contract for a chairman. Locked in for 5 years with a salary nearly $400,000 a year.
Remember, BTL is owned by the people of Belize.
So while you struggle with high rates, he collects nearly $400,000 a year and gets paid even if he's no longer a director of the company. So even though everyone wants him gone,
NTUCB members wanted to demand Chairman Mark Lizarraga's resignation.
Chairman Lizarraga needs to go.
Bacon ain't giving up that fat salary. And even if he's removed, he still gets paid.
I sit at the pleasure of the Prime Minister.
Because that's how Chairman Bacon rolls.
The Civil Registry Department and Vital Statistics Unit provides comprehensive information services to assist citizens in obtaining official documentation related to key life events. You can apply for birth, death, marriage, adoption, or deed poll certificates for records that have already been registered. You can also request tailored information extracts or certified copies of documents about specific life events. All Vital Statistics information services are available through the new Civil Registry and Vital Statistics System, CRVS. You can complete all services online from the comfort of your own home, or if you prefer face-to-face interaction or need additional support, you can visit their nearest office to complete any service. The new CRVS, digitally connecting citizens to all vital statistics services. Visit crvs.gov.bz today to access our services.
Nando's Wholesale is the distributor for the full line of Badia spices, including the original complete seasoning, the perfect combination of ingredients and spices prepared to enhance the natural flavor of your favorite foods. Also, cinnamon powder for all your desserts, fruits, and beverages, and as special dishes. All these are available in commercial sizes or restaurant packaging. Nando's products are available at your local retailer or contact us at 222-5000. From Corozal to Toledo, Nando's is proud to be serving Belize as its #1 wholesale distributor for over 35 years.
Welcome to the V Department Store. We are conveniently located on Coney Drive in Belize City. That's right on Coney Drive in Belize City. At the V Department Store, we offer a wide variety of groceries, cosmetics, kitchen appliances, kitchenware, electronics, and more. We've also recently expanded to the second floor to better meet your household and office furniture needs. We now have a wide variety of furniture, home decor, and accessories. We have a shared vision for a comfortable and customer-friendly shopping experience. Visit us today and be warmly greeted by our reasonable prices and cordial staff. The V Department Store. Experience the ultimate shopping destination.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
The cold front came on strong early this morning, and record lows for February were set in the north. The National Meteorological Service reports that preliminary information suggests that new record lows for February were set in the north, with Libertad in Curzon and Galanjug in Orange Walk registering temperatures of 41.7 degrees Fahrenheit. And lows for the February 2nd date were also recorded at Libertad, but also at a brisk 41.7%, Tower Hill at 46.1%, PGIA Airport at 50.9%, Baldy Beacon at 43.8%, and Melinda at 50.9%. Going back briefly to crime news on Friday, we told you that a police officer had been charged for murder. 24-year-old Constable Kenroy Allen Jr., a police officer of the Lords Bank area, has been charged for the murder of Shaquem Francis Ferguson, which occurred a week ago in Ladyville. ASP Stacey Smith spoke about the investigation that led to the apprehension of Allen Jr.
Allen, a Belize police constable, for the crime of murder.
Is Allen from the area?
Yes, I believe he resides in Ladyville.
Okay, question. By chance did he work out district before and just moved here, or has he always worked in the area?
I am not certain if Mr. Allen works in Ladyville. I know he works in Ladyville now.
I'm just asking.
I don't believe he works in Ladyville. The last I knew is that he worked in Belmopan. There is a suggestion that drugs may be the motive and it may be connected to the other incidents that occurred in that area.
And would there be any other arrests, or he's the only one you...
The investigation is ongoing. As developments of interest are made, that will be shared with the media.
Today in court, Allen Jr. was read a single charge of murder when he appeared before Chief Magistrate Deborah Rogers. Due to the nature of the offense, Allen Jr. was denied bail and remanded to the Belize Central Prison until May 15, 2026. He may face additional charges. They'll be having drum practice at St. Martin's de Porres Primary School now, thanks to the donation made by Fort George Hotel and Spa. Their principal hopes that they will be able to start a school marching band. Jo Marie Lanza reports.
A child's dream for a drum and a love for music was observed by the staff at St. Martin's de Porres Primary School. It prompted them to push their luck and ask for donations to put together a school marching band. Fort George Hotel and Spa responded to their request, and to mark the rebranded hotel's second anniversary, they decided to give back to the community, handing over a total of 8 drums and a set of cymbals to the students of St. Martin's de Porres.
The request came in. We forwarded that request to the music company, which is Seawise. We asked for their advice. They advise us, and we pretty much proceed from there. So it's an initiative that was quickly approved by our CEO because we feel that it would add value to the school. The children were excited about the idea, and of course, we make it a reality by making a donation. And we do intend to provide other instruments to enhance the marching band. It's more than the instruments. It's giving the kids them an avenue to look at discipline, look at structure, look at teamwork, and also, from my recollection, this is the first opportunity St. Martin's School have in terms of a marching band. And so that's really where it came from. When it was first delivered, the excitement, I was pretty much impressed with what I saw, the drummers coming in, just doing a small tune. I was really impressed with that because the delivery was done last week. And so for them to quickly address that situation, it was really impressive for me. Notwithstanding, we are also looking to have a person come in and teach the kids. So it was very encouraging for us. So we're looking forward to the marching band expanding. As was mentioned earlier by the principal, they are looking at also adding like minarets to it to be a part of it, because they do have programs that requires a marching band to be a part of it.
Many schools choose to invest in sports as extracurricular activities. But Principal Roxana Encalada explained why they decided to pursue music instead.
We believe that the children supposed to have something extra to do so that we can keep them here at school more active, more engaging in activities that they're going to be able to embrace. We have a number of students that love the drum. So what we find out during break or during lunch break, they will just be knocking and knocking and knocking all around the school compound. So we said maybe, if we reach out to people and ask for some donations for drums, they're going to be excited to put that skill into practice. And that is the reason that we decided to choose drumming. We have never had a marching band before. As a matter of fact, this is the first time that St. Martin de Porres School has received such donation. I am excitedly to say that the person that is going to be guiding them is one of our past students attending a high school right now.
And as the line of drummers marched in with their shiny new percussions on display, the last to fall in line was their bold bass drum player, 12-year-old Lamar Flowers. What he may lack in size to carry such an instrument, he makes up for in heart. We asked him why he chose to play bass.
My school has never gotten a donation like this before, so I feel very happy that my school got a donation like this, and so I can play drums with my friends and have a lot of fun.
Why do you like playing drums?
Because it takes out my emotions. I don't really remember, but it was a long time ago, and I played the bass drum and I really liked it, so I just kept on playing it and kept on playing it.
You don't find it too heavy?
No, that's very light, very light.
Jo Marie Lanza, 7 News.
You may have seen the UDP hugging up behind leader Tracy Panton earlier in the news, and there are reports that 2 members of the UDP are returning to the fold. So, will the voting public be seeing Anthony Boots Martinez and Patrick Faber's names on a ballot come the next general election? Here's what the party leaders said.
Let me say that the United Democratic Party had a National Party Council meeting on Saturday. At that meeting, we passed a resolution to right the injustices and wrongs that was done to 4 senior members of the United Democratic Party under the previous leadership. And so for posterity and to ensure that we clearly document for our own history, the Honorable Senator Patrick Faber, Ms. Beverly Williams, Mr. John Saldiva, and myself, we made a clear motion declarations that what was happened was wrong and completely wrong. There is no intention, as far as I am aware, of any changes to the leadership in Port Loyola. Where it comes to Collett, there has always been a clear understanding that at the appropriate time, we will look at the caretakership, as we have an obligation to do for all other constituencies that have caretakers. We are a political entity that intends to win in 2030. And to be fair, the only reason the Honorable Patrick Faber was not considered the caretaker was because of the injustice done to him. At the time, he was not allowed to participate and effectively expelled a third time, if you will, because he was bold enough. He was bold enough to show up for a National Party Council meeting where he should have been. So he was disenfranchised, and we will not allow that injustice to perpetuate indefinitely.
Is that to say then that he will, that now is the appropriate time for him to be reinstated as standard bearer in that area?
There will be a meeting, including the leadership team and the Collett constituency, the present caretaker, for us to determine collectively together when that time will be.
As the month of flowers, chocolates, and candlelight dinners is now upon us, florists are preparing for their biggest sale day of the year. We've been visiting them in February since 1994. In fact, Florasol was featured on our very first newscast on February 14, 1994. And since then, the business has gone through ownership and location changes. Today, we found them embracing a new location with a storefront. Jo Marie Lanza reports.
The demand for flowers and floral arrangements for every occasion pushed them to expand their office to a storefront just a few blocks away from their former headquarters on Bayman Avenue. Customers will now have the option to come in, browse, and envision their perfect bouquet or arrangement on site now that they have the space to do so.
We didn't have a store. We basically had a small office. We had one shelf that displayed a few self-care items, and we had the production room separated from the store. It was always meant to be a temporary location, but the search has been on since we moved. Like after the second month, we already knew that we needed a bigger place. So, thankfully, we got this new location, and the race was on as of October to get it ready for Valentine's Day. Yeah, so here you can walk in, you can shop at your leisure, listen to a little bit of music, be in an air-conditioned environment, and see what all we have to offer. So it's not just floral arrangements anymore either. We have boxes, we have vases, we have everything for DIY folks, event planners, and other flower shops. Everything that we have seen that we need, we have tried to get a bit of everything here and open it up to all the other flower shops and to the DIY crafters and, everyone.
But even with the move from one location to another, they couldn't miss a beat, and the team at Florasol launched their Valentine's Day preparations in December to make way for the busiest time of the year, for the month of love. And this time, they are trying to make it as easy as possible to get that bouquet.
Anyone who wants to buy from Florasol can literally go to our WhatsApp. We have a form with all the options available. The prices are there, the add-ons. So if you wanted to buy Enchanted and you wanted to add a bottle of wine, it's a click form. Very, very, very user-friendly. You submit the form at the end, and it can be 1 o'clock in the morning, whenever it's there. It's available. So to make shopping easier, more convenient for busy persons. So yeah, that's what we've been doing. So we are prepped, ready for Valentine's.
And being prepped means ensuring that their fresh shipment of flowers comes in days before the big day, when thousands of orders are distributed countrywide. The demand is primarily roses, and they receive thousands of them for both custom bouquets and pre-orders.
So in terms of quantity, it's in excess of a pack of rose brings 24. We jump 100 packs. And as the date nears to the 14th, we may have to place another order, but I would say, yeah, a couple thousand roses. Our biggest offer in our catalog is 36 roses. But we had a period of custom orders that we did place for bigger orders of roses, yeah.
What would you say are your other popular flowers during this time?
Sunflowers. I don't know. I mean, there's just a love for sunflowers. So we've actually have two options in our catalogs with sunflowers and roses, and sunflowers with yellow flowers. And those have been very popular too. Sunshine is one of our top sellers this year, and that has two sunflowers in it.
And if you still haven't secured a rose for that special someone in your life, you still have about a week to do so. That is, if you choose to come in on their busiest day of the year and snag what you can at their new storefront.
So we chose the 10th for our cutoff date for placing orders. Often, not every year, there's been a couple times that we have had to close a little bit earlier because the store has reached capacity. We think this year we're going to be able to expand that because we have more florists for the occasion. And hopefully we will be able to take orders up to maybe the 12th this year. So we'll have options from $15 in store. No orders would need to be placed for those ones. So 15 to around 60. We will have a tent outside. So we will have like a shop outside for persons who was not able to order and can't find anything and just stop by and want to just stop by and buy something for $20 for their daughter or their girlfriend or whatever occasion. We will have smaller items in roses, sunflowers, and a mix of flowers.
And that's all we have for you on 7 News tonight. Thanks for watching. With your news, I'm Indira Craig. Remember, you can find a full transcript of the news at 7newsbelize.com and see the streaming video on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Have a pleasant evening. Join me back here tomorrow at 6.